Paranormal Crossroad is going live.
You're invited to a special evening at the historic Athenaeum.
Be a part of the live studio audience.
New evidence, new stories, and in-person readings with spirit medium Tiffanys Rice.
Tickets include a chance to get your own message from spirit during an intimate gallery reading.
Plus, we'll use our equipment to talk to the spirits at the Athenaeum.
Seating is very limited.
Paranormal Crossroad live. Tickets on sale now. Brought to you by Hiatus Tequila and Small Batch Soups. Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Road to Peace podcast. My name is KJ, and I have the lovely opportunity to talk with other people in all kinds of different fields that are working on trying to help people have a more peaceful life. And if you are one of those people and you would be interested in being on the show, please feel free to reach out to me. We are booking new guests, but tonight I am very excited, or today when you're listening, I am very excited to bring someone onto the show who you may be familiar with if you are watching Paranormal Crossroad. And if you're not, I highly recommend that you check it out now. The full season is free to stream on YouTube at paranormalcrossroad.com. My co-star, amazing friend, and incredible spirit medium, Tiffanys Rice. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
I'm so excited about this.
I am too.
For those of you who have followed along with Paranormal Crossroad, it's been such an organic, beautiful journey. I'm sorry, Tiffany doesn't like the word journey. Story that has unfolded. But it's also been a bit of a blur, and we kind of just, got started and went right to work. And part of the reason that I wanted to have you as a guest and then have Kitsie as a guest is, and it came from the whole first workshop that we did when we were out in Massachusetts with you. Each one of us stood up and shared a little bit of our story. And at the end of it, we had all learned things about each other that we didn't know.
Right, exactly. And I thought that was, because when we first decided to do this, I'm like, okay, and KJ, you'll talk about your thing. I'm going to talk about mine. Kit's going to talk about hers. And then all of a sudden, like with both of you girls, when you both got on, I was like, well, you learn something new every day, huh?
Yes, same here. So I was like, wow, for as close as we are in the friendships that we have, there's still a lot to each of our stories that we are learning. And, and I really wanted to spend some time helping the people who are following us on Paranormal Crossroad already, and the people who listen to the podcast have a chance to get to know you and how you really ended up where you are right now, because it wasn't like you were just born into being spirit medium Tiffanys Rice. You had just an incredible life that led you to, oh my gosh, this is what I need to do. So can you kind of talk about, some of the beginnings leading up to the moment that you became spirit medium Tiffanys Rice?
Yeah, well, I always had a sense of knowing growing up, and I always was viewed with my family as that weird kid, right? And it wasn't until, sometimes certain things in your life happen, and you never know why it happens, but it ends up bringing out these amazing gifts, abilities, strength that you never knew that you had. So going on from what having that sense of knowing, I can remember growing up and going to a boyfriend at the time, his baseball game, and thinking he's going to hit a home run, and he would. I'd also have conversations with people, and as I was having those conversations with them, I would start to see images behind them, as in people. And it was all in my mind's eye. So I thought, okay, I'm going a little crazy here, but it ended up, you just never know. But then it ends up all coming together, where when I was seeing these images, they were actually people that have passed. I ended up wanting to be, because I always gravitated towards the energy fields of Reiki and healing and so forth. So I ended up going full speed, becoming a Reiki master teacher back in 2008 to help me with energy. I was part of a paranormal group because I wanted to learn more about energy. And I ended up going through divorce. So as I'm learning all these bits and pieces about myself and learning how to connect with energy and heal, I end up going through this divorce, which honestly was a pretty mild divorce. I hear all these stories. I don't really have a crazy story to tell with it. It was just an unfortunate situation. And so at that moment in my life, I had gone through a divorce. The job that I had for 9 years laid me off. I got my first car accident, and the house that I lived with my husband, he took ownership of the house. So it literally, I woke up, I had no job, I had no husband. It's like a scene
home.
Falling off. But I really woke up and I thought, wow, everything that I once knew is now gone. So what am I going to do? And it brought me back to the things that made me happy. And what made me happy was being connected to energy, which I had already started. So I decided, okay, I don't know where I'm going to go with this, but I'm going to make sure that I am happy. That's the one promise I'm going to make to myself. So I peeled back the layers. I did a lot of work on myself, and I went back into the energy connection, that holistic field that always brought me a little bit of hope and a little bit of peace. And I started to develop my gift even more and more. And my gift was being able to communicate with those that have passed. So I used all different healing modalities, and I started to talk to people and get involved and really be part of an amazing holistic community. And through there, I started to I would do readings. I started to give little readings here and there. I started with my friends, my family, and then the holistic community helped me out, kind of sourcing me with where it is that I needed to go. And then it's just I started just doing it more and more. And it got to the point pretty quickly that I ended up having to make this my full-time job, because it was like word out on the street, Tiff's going to be giving readings, so this person would tell that person and that person would tell that person. And so I was doing so many readings. I was doing the house party and all of that. And I decided that I needed to make a decision to make being a spirit medium my full-time job. What do I get out of it? I absolutely love it because it is that connection. It's a different form of a different healing modality when someone's going through grief, and everybody experiences grief. So it doesn't matter where you're from, what you believe in, who you are, everybody experiences grief. So where I fit in, I am the liaison to connect you with your loved ones in spirit. And it brings me so much happiness when I'm able to give you the validations and the affirmations and letting you know we're never truly alone. And so I love being able to work with you, KJ, because doing the Paranormal Crossroad, I'm able to help people. And that's part of our road to peace. This is what we want. We want to be able to help people evolve. We want to help people be able to communicate and go travel with them on their healing journey, so to speak, even though I don't like the word journey. But, it really, I've done a lot of amazing things by living my true authentic self. And I've met amazing people by being my true authentic self. So that's why I love what I do. But I had to go through that storm and really kind of figure it out, because again, I was always gravitated towards it, but I had to really go through and kind of let go of my old beliefs and things that were no longer serving me, including my marriage. Again, he's a great guy. He just wasn't the guy for me. So, I had to go through all of that in order to see what my true potential was and where it was that I fit in. And so there you have it. There's Spirit Tiff is born from that.
I think, for the person that's listening, it's so important to know, if you're going through something, to be intentional in understanding that the pain can propel you in the direction that you're supposed to go in. It would be wonderful if we had charmed lives that never came with any kind of challenges and obstacles, but how boring would we be?
Right.
It sometimes takes those big moments where you go, I thought I was all these things, and I thought I had the checklist of
100%.
I got the husband, I got the job, I got the house, I got the dog, I got all the things, and I'm not happy. So
right.
To know that there is, maybe your maybe your path, your purpose isn't to grow your intuition and become a spirit medium, but whatever it is, it's equally important to serve the world with what makes you happy. And so if you're not happy right now, just having those days where you are being intentional about being happy and taking those little steps can make such a difference. That's why we talk about the road to peace. Like we're not stopping somewhere, because there's never that point. And you resonate with that. Like, it's not like we grow up thinking like, when I have all of these things, I'll be happy.
Yeah, right. And it's not going to be that way. Right. And it's really, as we, just like you said, KJ, as we sometimes get propelled forward in the direction that we're meant to go in, let's not forget that as we are going through this transitional phase, we need to do the healing. We need to be accountable for our healing, mind, body, soul, and that is, and only when you get to that point where you are actually allowing yourself to do the healing on yourself, whether it's through healing through grief or childhood trauma or anything that has happened to you personally, working on our triggers, because we all have triggers somewhere, right? So as long as we're accountable in that healing process, that's only going to gravitate our true abundance, which is where we belong, where we fit in. And you'll feel it everywhere. In every fiber being of your soul, you will feel when it just feels right, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, the amount of times, I'm sure that like in the past, you had goosebumps or you had those feelings and stuff, but it's when you start to choose to be aware of that connection of like, I'm having a physical reaction to something right now that's amazing. Like,
yes.
Like your body is saying, yes, more of this, right?
Yes, exactly.
And to pay attention to those things when your body is like, absolutely not, like, I'm not interested in this. Those messages are there on so many levels. Can you talk a little bit about, this might be a little self-serving for me, but I know that a lot of our listeners and followers, viewers are interested in developing their intuition more. And one of the things that I thought was really cool that you helped Kitsie and I with, such a simple little, exercise, but you actually helped us do some things to exercise our intuition, to kind of like get that muscle going. And that was so fascinating to me. And I've tried to do it more now. Like there is a learning curve, and a way that you can repeat and experience and grow in your own intuition, right?
Yes. Well, the first thing that you might want to do is learn how to quiet your mind by meditation, right? Sometimes meditation can be pretty scary because you're thinking, well, I have so many things to do. How am I going to quiet my mind? And believe me, I'm someone who has ADHD. I'm constantly like, okay, I have this podcast, and after this podcast, I have a reading, and then after this, and then blah, 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 blah. Like, so yes. Sometimes life can get away from you, right? So, even if just having a couple minutes of quiet time may be difficult for you, put on some quiet music, because believe it or not, the quiet music has the same effect on you as you would put on some sort of music to hype you up. Say if you're getting ready to go to the gym, okay, you're getting ready to go out, let's put on this music. Yeah, we can't wait, right? So when you put on calming music, it actually has the same effect, but in that calming manner. And what that does is actually helps slow down your breathing, regulating your breathing. So you might even actually feel that physical sense of lowering your shoulders, and maybe even your eyes begin to soften just because you changed the music that you're listening to. So you can start off by doing that. Another good rule of thumb is if you have a deck of playing cards, angel cards, tarot cards, whatever kind of cards you have, shuffle those cards. And you could either say to yourself, okay, show me a red card. Close your eyes, pick out a card. Or you could do the opposite, where you shuffle the cards, you pick out a card, and you ask, okay, what color card do I have? Do I have a red or black card? What suit is it? Is it a number card? Just start off with practicing that and see where it takes you. And be gentle with yourself. I'm going to tell you, I'm really not good at that practice because I started out doing that myself, and I'm like, okay. So that isn't my forte, but so be gentle with yourself. If you don't get it, keep practicing. You're working that pineal gland. You're working your third eye, which is right here, right? So you're working your senses to really allow yourself to trust your gut on what you're thinking and what you're seeing. So it's important to just kind of activate that. That's all. It's just a third eye activation. It's you releasing all doubt. And just like a meditation, you may not get the first meditation, but if you start to train your body, soon enough, your body is going to, it's almost like muscle memory for your brain, right? You're going to hear that music, and all of a sudden you're going to be like, oh, okay, now it's time to unwind.
What do you do when you just got to kind of like push through and put it aside, right? When you're doing those exercises and you're like, I swear I was seeing red and I turned the card over and it's blue. You got just
right. Maybe that's going to be the next card,
okay.
And always go with your first thought.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times we'll hold on to something and we're like, oh, I don't know. I thought it was this, but now I'm thinking it's this. And then I've always learned that if you go with your very first thought, that usually is the right choice. But be gentle with yourself. This is something new for you. This is something that you're just beginning. And it's important for you to honor your learning capacity. So, by all means, start with the meditation, and then along with the meditation, start with grabbing a deck of cards. Again, it could be any kind. It could be just the regular king, queen type of card, or it could be angel cards. I like actually using like oracle cards, angel cards. Why? Because it gives more of options for colors and things that you can actually see. Whereas the king and queen, it's like red, black, suit, number. But if you're looking at an oracle card,
we have better options of getting it right.
Yes, exactly. You have a better advantage. If you let me show you. I have some cards right over here. I'm gonna pull a card, right?
Okay.
Let's see. What's this card? What's this card gonna be for us today, KJ?
Oh boy.
I'm gonna shuffle, which I am awful at shuffling, but these are my go-to cards. It's funny because I was actually trying to order. There's a deck that I really want, and the person that used to make them, I don't believe she makes them anymore. So they're hard to get. And then they were used, and I'm like, should I get used ones? What if it's missing a card? So okay, I'm going to pull a card for us.
Okay.
Because it's fun. But then I'm also going to explain to you why I prefer using an oracle card or angel card rather than the king and queen type card. Okay, so KJ, what do we need to know for our highest and greatest good?
Oh my gosh, this is so exciting.
Ooh, I like it. Okay, so this is perception beyond the veil of illusion. Okay,
Ooh,
so it really is, I think for us, this symbolizes exactly, and if you look at the card, it's opening up that third eye chakra.
Yep.
The butterfly is a huge transformational piece. Using your voice, speaking volumes, okay? So not when it says beyond the veil of illusion, like it's you allowing yourself to be your true authentic self. And so getting back to why I prefer these cards. So if I was to pick this card and I didn't look at it, right? I would think, okay, what color is it showing me? Well, I have the choice with this particular card. I could pick red, I could pick purple, I could pick yellow. There's a butterfly. There's a lot of things happening, right? So that's why I like using these types of cards as opposed to the king or queen, because you're really limiting yourself. So a lot of times,
and especially in the beginning, right? Because it's about confidence building.
And it's funny because there's actually I don't know if you've seen me do this, but there's actually a demo that I do with people where they don't realize I'm doing it, but I'm actually I'm pretty much showing them what it's like to break down their energy and then build their energy back up. And they have no idea that they're doing it, but you can actually see in a physical sense. So when you really focus in and you start getting things right, your confidence, everything's like, yes, yes, yes. That's why I'm like, guys, maybe you should get the Oracle cards, or you should get the tarot cards, like angel cards, any type of cards, rather than the King or Queen, because the King and Queen cards are the ones that are like black, red, King, Queen suit.
Right.
And some of us, when we're learning something, we can be pretty hard on ourselves if we don't get something right. So
some of us.
so easy. Oh yeah. That's why I'm like, all right, well, obviously I'm awful at this game, so why don't I try this one? Yeah. I'm going to pick a card that has every color in it.
Oh, this has been, I mean, it's been one of the hardest things, because I'm such a competitor, and I want to be, when I decide I'm going to do something, like I want to be good at it immediately.
Oh, and yeah, and you just want to be the best, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I get it.
Yes.
I get it.
So I will tell you, in my journey and learning with you, and, I want to encourage everybody who's listening and watching. I've got Tiffanys website up for you. It's tiffanysrice.com. And you can find all of her social media there, everything. Follow her, because she does a lot of lives, and you do a lot of helpful tips and teaching, and just like, even, explaining to us what the crystals are that you're using. I mean,
right.
You are providing such a service and helping people, not just in, the readings that they book with you, but on every platform that you're on. You are so informative and encouraging to people to grow this confidence. And for me, I mean, so much of my changes in the last year, the conversations that you and I have had, where, you're like, what do you want to happen, and how are you going to make it happen? And let's like talk through it and visualize it. And, I've always had this connection to animals, and it's really like, I'm fine when I'm chit-chatting with an animal, because like nobody's worrying about whether or not
non-judgment. Yeah.
Right. But in trying to help people and communicating with their animals, that's like a whole scary thing. Like, what if I'm getting it wrong? And they say, no, my cat doesn't like to, sleep on my bed. And I'm like, oh man, I'm so wrong and bad at this.
Right.
So the other day, this was going on for weeks. I had my friend Cindy Huff, who's the animal communicator.
Yes.
Who, I go to. Her cat, Simba, had passed away. And several months ago, she had sent me a picture of him and said, I know that you are wanting to learn more and hone your skills in animal communication, and I would love to help. If at any time you want to focus in on this picture of Simba and send me some information, I'll let you know and verify what you've got. And I didn't do it. Like, I was so nervous. I'm like, I can't tell the animal communicator what her animal is saying.
Right.
So Simba passed away probably about 6 weeks ago. And Tiffany, this cat, was coming to me in the shower. Like, I'm washing my hair and stuff. And like, I'm like, this is so weird.
Yes.
And so I finally, about a week ago, I said to him, I'm like, okay, Simba, when I get done showering, I'm going to put clothes on, and I'm going to go sit down, and I'm going to write out everything that you want your mom to know. Just please let me finish showering.
Yeah.
And so I did. And I just was like getting the visions, and I sent it to her, and then I was super nervous. And she wrote back to me. It was like, this is so meaningful. Thank you so much. I want you to know that as he got older and we knew he was getting sicker, he would spend time in the shower. So the fact that you're telling me that he came to you in the shower is such an important validation for me, that was
Yes.
his safe place, and he felt safe with you going there, and
Oh
that
my
would
gosh,
mean
I
something.
love that.
Isn't that so? And and everything that I was just like crazy typing and like, don't think about it, just keep doing it and hit send without rereading it, like
Yep.
just hit send.
Yeah.
And it was like everything that I hit on that just sounded like a bunch of crazy gibberish to me as I was doing it. She validated all of it and said, "You're really, really good at animal communication. Please keep doing this." And I'm like, oh.
Awesome. Yeah.
Right? But yeah, it was like the weirdest thing. I'm like, why do I keep thinking of her cat while I'm showering? And like, how do I tell her?
Well, that's the thing. And it's like
Right?
you had to so here's a tip, right?
Okay.
Take the ego out of the reading, because the
Okay.
messages and the what you see in the messages aren't meant for you. So you don't have to make sense out of it. You don't need to know why the cat's coming to you in the shower. All you need to know is that Simba's coming to you in the shower. So all you can say is, "Hey, Simba came to me in the shower today." Right? So if you don't, and it's one of those tough things because we're just an ego-driven community sometimes. I used to do that. Like it's funny, one of my first readings I did, I remember giving somebody a reading and bringing her grandmother through, and she was showing me brownies. And it was around lunchtime, and I'm thinking, like, I'm a foodie anyway. So I'm like, okay, it's probably just because I'm hungry. I'm not going to bring up brownies because we're talking about this or that, right? So at the end of the reading, she says to me, "I'm surprised my grandmother didn't bring up her brownies. That's what she was known for." And I was like, "What?" I go, "No, she did. I swear she did. I thought it's because I was hungry, because I took it as like a message for myself." And I'm like, oh my gosh, like take yourself out of it, because the message isn't for me. I'm not supposed to care about the brownies. I'm just supposed to say, "Hey, your grandmother's showing me the brownies," So that was a huge lesson where it was, all right, Tiff, let go of your ego. Just allow the information to pour through exactly the way it's coming. And your job is just to deliver that message. That's it. You're not supposed to make sense out of it. So if you were learning to communicate, that's a good tip, is don't always think that you have to make sense out of it, because it's not your life. You're not going to make sense out of it.
Okay.
Right?
That makes that makes more sense.
Right? Because you're like, oh my gosh, why is this cat coming to me in the shower? Should I say something? Should I, And it's like, instead of thinking why it's coming to you that way, just say, okay, the cat's coming to me in the shower. And you can deliver that message exactly. And that's what you did. And it ended up paying off because it was a huge validation for her.
Well, and thankfully he was not going to quit. Right?
Good.
Like,
Yes.
I'm just going to keep coming to you in the shower until you tell her I'm coming to you in the shower.
Right. And Spirit always has a way, Spirit always has a way.
So if you are interested in having what we call the TIFF experience, which is amazing, you can book Tiffany, and you don't have to be in person, right? Like energy is energy, right?
Yes, that's what I always say. I have clients that I've never met. I have clients from Trinidad and England and Australia and Ireland that I've never personally met, that I've talked to quite a few times. So I offer phone readings. And if you are in the New England area, there are sometimes I do host in-person events. Obviously, I'm going to be out in Indiana a lot. But ultimately, if you are looking for your own private reading, the best way to reach me is through my website, TiffanyRice.com, and we can book you a phone reading.
And Tiffany will be back in Indiana with us on March 12th. If you are watching or listening before March 12th, we'll be back at the Athenaeum, which that place is just, continues to call us back.
Talk about spirits and just the atmosphere altogether. I am so happy that I was able to go and be part of the event in October, because after actually being there and feeling the energy that's in that theater, and also like it's just good people around there. Even the restaurant right next door. I loved the restaurant next door.
Oh, yeah.
There's the beer garden, all of that. Like that was amazing. So I cannot wait to come back and get to meet even more people and bring through more spirits. And yeah, it just makes me happy.
And all of that, if you want to get tickets, we have our events have been selling out. Tiffany's events in Massachusetts sell out. Our events here in Indiana, go to paranormalcrossroad.com. We have, again, if you are watching or listening before our mimosas and mindfulness webinar, that's a virtual thing that we are doing coming up on March 6th. And you're going to be giving us the basic witch crystals guide, right?
Yeah, you know what? I'm changing it up a little, but as you guys know, if you follow me on Spirit Medium Tiffany on Facebook or Spirit Tiff on Instagram, I'm always posting about crystals because I love them, not only for decor in my house, but I love the healing modalities that they provide. And I love them with meditation too. So I'm going to be bringing some of my favorites, and we're going to be going over the basics of pretty much crystals and what crystals do and how they can help us and where they look good. Right?
Yes. I haven't been able to stop my crystal addiction. It's been very fun too. And to really see, I had learned about crystals again, like the pets always call to me with this. My first experience with crystals was working with my cat Nandy, who was having seizures, and a friend of mine encouraged me to use crystals to help treat her seizures. And we got to a point with this cat who was extremely high strung, not really interested. Like, she would come to bed with me after I was asleep. If I woke up and had any sort of, I'm so glad you're here, she was like, well, I'm not now. Thanks a lot for waking up and ruining it. And she would let me put crystals on her. She would lay down. She got used to them being next to her, and eventually let me put them on her. She would lay down and let me do these crystal treatments. And it was almost like she came into my life for many reasons, but one of them was to kind of leave me with this knowledge of this is a way to heal. And you need to use it more.
100%. Yes.
So we are very excited about that. March 6th, it'll be a brunch type workshop. So you can grab your mimosas, stay in your PJs or your favorite comfy pants, and just get mindful with us. So
I was going to say, I'm probably going to be in my bathrobe, since I feel like all my TikToks are me in my bathrobe, like just getting out of bed. Here's your card. Here's your card for the day, which it just reminded me, I forgot to pull a card for everybody.
Oh my gosh. You need to pull you pulled a card here. That was,
that's right. Maybe.
So yes, you did pull a card today.
The self-love and healing. Yeah.
Yay. And before we go, I want to talk about, because not only are you out there doing readings and gallery readings and all of the amazing messages that you are bringing through with Spirit, your jewelry collection is so fantastic. So let's talk about Dune Jewelry for a second.
Yes. So I've been doing a lot of work. If you guys, I know it's hard to see. This is my third eye chakra necklace, which is different from the evil eye. So the third eye is all about owning your intuition, opening up your abilities to really focus in on your intuition and allow yourself to be completely and fully aligned. So that's the part of the third eye chakra design that I chose to do with Dune Jewelry. And it comes in a necklace, ring, it comes in a bracelet, and I also have cardinals, because if you guys are familiar, cardinals are a huge sign of our loved ones in spirit. So we have cardinal ornaments, necklaces, bracelets again. And I also have the angel wing. And one of the reasons why I love the angel wing is that on the side of the wing, it's actually engraved with my trademark, which is "We are never truly alone." Aww. And so the reason why I did the collaboration with Dune Jewelry, well, one, I'm good friends with Holly, who is the owner, but she also actually it's called experiential jewelry, because you can put any element within the jewelry. So it's pretty much bringing those memories and keeping them alive with you as you wear them. So whether it's a memory of a loved one that's passed, or maybe it's just a good memory for yourself, it's about keeping those memories alive. And I thought that was an amazing message behind her product. And so you can definitely check out the Tiffanys Rice Spiritual Collection at Dune Jewelry.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love when I have my cardinal necklace on. It's got a little bit of sand from, which was a place I was like, they're not going to have sand from Dingle Bay in Ireland. And you were like, yes, they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that was I mean, when my husband and I went to Ireland, there was a lot of spiritual awakening for us. It felt very much like home. We came back different people, and that was, standing out and looking over that particular bay is something that was just so beautiful for us. And so I get to carry that with me in this beautiful cardinal. And then whenever somebody mentions it, I get to talk about this beautiful memory that I have and that I'm carrying it with me. So
exactly.
Thank you.
It's definitely jewelry pieces with a message. So
I love it. And again, TiffanyRice.com is where you can find all things Tiff. March 12th at the Athenaeum Paranormal Crossroad Live is the next time that Kitsie, Tiffany, and I will be together. And it will be your first look at season 2. It's our first filming in public for the first 2 episodes of season 2. So it's going to be a very exciting night for many reasons. And if you show up, there's a good chance that your spirits are going to be coming along with you. So
yes.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. This was
You're welcome. Thank you.
Fantastic. Absolutely. The Road to Peace podcast is a monthly podcast where we help you on your road to peace. So if you enjoyed watching this, you want to listen to it, it is available on all of the major platforms. Just look for the Road to Peace podcast and hit that subscribe button.
Paranormal Crossroad is going live.
You're invited to a special evening at the historic Athenaeum.
Be a part of the live studio audience.
New evidence, new stories, and in-person readings with Spirit Medium Tiffany Rice.
Tickets include a chance to get your own message from Spirit during an intimate gallery reading.
Plus, we'll use our equipment to talk to the spirits at the Athenaeum.
Seating is very limited.
Paranormal Crossroad Live. Tickets on sale now. Brought to you by Hiatus Tequila and Small Batch Soup.